Cade,
And I'm Kit,
and we're real people.
doing real reviews, except for today we're doing interviews.
And we have a whole group with us here today.
We got to see this wonderful short film at the Calgary Underground Film Festival, so we're continuing that series. And the name of the film was, and actually maybe Carter will start with you if you don't want to talk about the name of the film, and then introduce yourself, and then if you want to introduce everybody else, that would be awesome as well.
Thank you so much for having us. This has been so awesome. My name is Carter Dodd. I am the lead actor in Love Will Tear Us Apart. I also am joined by the director, Elijah Ziegler, and Skyler Gray. She is my co-star in this film. And truly, this was just a passion project for all of us, especially for Elijah. This is very, very, very personal to him. It is very much a piece of each of us in this, and we have all worked so hard to get here, and we are just so grateful for the support, so grateful for everything that you guys are doing for us, and this has just been such an awesome opportunity. And so with that, I'm going to hand it off to Elijah or Skyler, whoever wants to hop in.
Yeah, so like Carter said, I am the director, also the writer of Love Will Tear Us Apart. Personal movie for me. It's actually the second movie I've ever made. And I initially conceived it as a direct companion piece to my first short film, which is called The Lamb. And that was kind of a big bummer of a relationship movie, just kind of like a little nihilistic and just sort of about, you know, just how awkward dating can be, and, sometimes how ignoring red flags in relationships can be a death sentence, if you will. But, I wrote that movie when I was really young, and I, since writing that movie, got in a serious relationship with an amazing person. Her name is Carmen, who is also a major factor on the movie, editor, producer, production designer, DIT, whatever, you name it, she did it. But I was really meditating on that first movie and just thinking about how much it did not speak to me anymore, and just how much I did not identify with like just the sort of like nihilistic themes of the movie. So I wanted to make something, or at least write something that just sort of like, I don't know, balanced that out. So I ended up writing Love Will Tear Us Apart as a gift for my girlfriend. I was just really meditating on, yeah, like, I guess, what a positive relationship looks like, and kind of our own personal experiences. And, I cranked that one out in a couple days, and I gave it to her, and she loved it. And, essentially told me, like, "Wait, what if we make it?" And, at first I was like, no way." And then she eventually was like, "Well, what if I produce it?" And I was like, "All right." And then so she produced it, and, uh, and it was a journey for sure, especially, working with your partner is, not always an easy thing to do, and it wasn't sometimes, and then sometimes it was, but, we saw it through, and, you guys got to check it out and chuckle in a theater full of people, and, so sorry if that was a little meandering, but there you go.
Also, Elijah's selling The Lamb a little short, okay? The Lamb was our first project together. We were in class, and
Film school.
we were at film school, and Elijah, I was in class with him, and I always admired his work and his writing. And I was like, this guy hates me. He does not like me. And I saw the audition for this movie, and I thought, I am gonna try this out. And so The Lamb is truly also like Elijah loves he's got a great place in his heart for that one as well.
Well, yeah,
Truly,
I like
but they are very like yin and yang to each other.
yeah, I mean, I like The Lamb, but, it's just it doesn't speak to me. The Level Tears Apart still does. It still does speak to me, very, very, very much so.
That's one of the cool parts of cinema. Yeah, where you can kind of mesh it out. So, okay, so that's how you guys know each other then. Hey, Elijah and Carter, you guys know each other from school. And what about you, Skylar? How do you know this crew?
I know these lovely people partially from school. I think Elijah and I had one class together, but then he dropped it. And then I had a class with Carter, and we never really like all got together in school for whatever reason. And then I saw they had the logo already on the script for auditions. And I was like, I have to be in this. And I walked in and I knew of Carmen, and Carmen's the coolest person that you've ever seen. And she was in the back, and I was terrified because I was like, I just want her to think I'm cool. And Carter was there and Elijah was there. And I was like, I don't care if they think I'm cool. I just hope they think I'm good. And they did. And it was our, you know, we started working together, and then a gorgeous friendship between both of them, and all three of us really blossomed. And like, it's really cool to think that such a fun, gory movie created not only an amazing movie, but amazing friendship, love. It created love along the way. That sounds so fake, but it's so true. I hold it so near.
No, I love you guys for sure.
It created love that didn't tear us apart.
No,
There
you
you
still
go.
have all
Yes,
of our
very good part.
rooms.
We definitely like have seen that so many times where, film has created film family, and we get to see as, small productions and short films evolve into feature films and great production houses, and we've watched that evolution. And yeah, super respect like really cohesive teams and how people stick together and onboard people as you can. And yeah, thanks for sharing that. Actually, that's like typically one of our first questions is like, what does it take to put this together? But you guys shared it in your story of how to know each other, so that's awesome. Um, I'm curious because it's a very unique film. The premise of the film, and we actually we do share it in our cuff review. So if you are watching us and you're wondering what was the premise of the film, those types of things, go back, click on our review of the Level Terrace part, and we explain it in depth. But it's very unique. So I'm curious for each of you if you want to share like your favorite memory from set, or maybe favorite scene from set, and why. And Skylar, can we start with you? We'll go and kind of go the other way. We'll go back through dudes that way.
Totally. Uh, Getting on set, it was my first time kind of dipping back into acting after a year of just, I had graduated, like there was a lot going on. And so I was really scared to get back into it, especially with something I was so excited for and passionate about. But every single day, and I am the actress, like I wasn't putting out fires or anything, but every single day was truly a dream for me. And everyone always thinks that's kind of weird because I was just covered in blood and goop for like 2 weekends, but I loved it. I don't know what that says about me, but I think one of my favorite memories, I'm such a makeup nerd, if you couldn't tell. And so getting to do like amazing FX makeup and have all these prosthetics on you is such a like crazy process. And it was the first time I had done anything like that for a film. And it really just transforms how you do it because spoilers, there's a part where I don't have an eye. And so for, a majority of filming, I couldn't see out of this eye. And so that changes how you act and how you literally see things. But it was just a delight to like walk around and kind of gross everybody out. And I remember the one time I really felt like I messed up. I I have a really hard time telling left from right. And I don't know. I've tried everything. They both look like L's to me. I don't know what to tell you. Uh, Carbon, we had finished filming the part where I had both eyes and I looked normal. She said, okay, wipe off your left eye, the normal makeup, and we'll put the prosthetic on you. And I went, okay. And I wiped off my right eye. And she went, oh no. And I went, oh no. Because we were trying, we only have a limited amount of time to film. So I didn't bring a lot of my makeup that I did my base with. So I'm in the little tent that we had, and Carter's just trying to sit there and like get in character and have a good time. And I'm practically screaming at him. I'm like, this doesn't even look like an eyebrow. Do I look stupid? Like, look, I messed up the whole film. And now they're only going to see this. And it looks awful. And he's just like, I think it looks fine. I'm like, you don't know anything. Like, it just wasn't. And then it looked fine. I can't even tell like what takes for me with the like, so it's just the whole makeup journey and like getting to look that way was fantastic for me.
Love that. Thank you. What about you, Elijah?
Oh, dude, the gooey kiss for sure. The gooey kiss was so funny. That was so fun on set.
So
So
fun on set.
gross. Yeah, that was a fun one. Anytime we can make people do weird kisses or get goo involved is always fun.
Yeah. Yeah. I remember that scene. A little bit gagging. Like I remember.
Yeah.
I remember. Yeah. Carter, what about you?
There was a lot of good memories on this set. But one that really sticks out to me, that wasn't as it wasn't featured as much as it was originally supposed to be. But my front two teeth are fake. When I was younger, I fell and I busted them out, and so I
Oof.
have these. I had these
I'm
crowns.
not laughing at you, but I know what you're gonna
No,
say.
I know you know it. You know.
Yeah.
So at one point in the film, Jeffrey has this fake tooth and he's smiling and he looks all dorky. Um, and it was supposed to be like a bigger part. I mean, it would not stick on top of my crowns. It kept falling out. We'd be in the middle of something and it'd fall out and we'd have to go and re-put it back in. But when I first put it on, I looked so dorky that Elijah came in and we started crying. We were laughing so hard. And it was just so, I mean, we were slapping the table. It was so funny. And
For
everybody,
like probably 15 straight minutes just of
it
laughter
was,
saloons.
We're like,
it
what
was
are
so
they?
funny. 'Cause he's just like,
Funny.
"How do I look?" You know? And it's like this, tooth that's all crooked, and it just looks so goofy, and it fit the character so much. So I think that truly is, like, my favorite of all. I just love that memory, but truly, we had such a great time. I mean, we could sit here for the rest of the interview and just tell you great
Mm,
stories that we have.
I know that our viewership loves that, like hearing a little bit of behind the scenes. So thanks for sharing that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and we love people that love genre. We love people who, kind of go somewhere, especially this being a body horror and how that isn't explored a lot with short film. And so I thought that's really it was an interesting take, especially to do it in a very like fun loving way. I think it certainly set the tone for the feature film that came right after, which I thought was really awesome. Do you want to ask the next question?
For sure. So, what we do with all of our guests is tell us your favorite scary movie and why. And we'll start with who wants to go first?
I can
Um,
hop in. I know mine off the top of my head. These guys probably know what I'm gonna say. I think my favorite horror film is Terrifier 2. Uh, Anything to do with the Terrifier franchise, it's something that means a lot to me. I truly, truly, truly just relate to those films. A little fun fact, David Howard Thornton, who plays Art the Clown, and I were actually born in the same hospital. We're both from Huntsville, Alabama. So it was really, that movie is just what they do for indie film. It truly it just captured. I mean, I remember the first time I saw it, so that's probably definitely gonna be my answer.
well,
Funny.
aren't you?
Terrifying.
Well, Carter, aren't you a big Jim Carrey guy?
Oh yeah, I love Jim.
Yeah, yeah. So I
Uh,
mean, Art the Clown is essentially Jim Carrey if he murdered people. You know what I mean? Like,
Exactly.
yeah.
I mean, Dumb and Dumber as well. I mean, seriously, like there were so many Jim Carrey movies that I grew up on, but like that is
Mm.
such a good. I've never actually thought like,
That's why he's so fun. It's like watching a Jim Carrey movie with like extreme gore, is what it's like. You know,
dude, you are
I love
so right.
that about Jim Carrey movies is there's not enough murder.
needs more bodily mutilation. Yeah.
We'll give him those notes.
Yeah.
We'll let him know. Okay.
Jim, if you're watching,
Yeah.
this is what we need on the next one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
More murders.
More murders, please. And gore. That would be great.
A little, turn it up a little bit.
Skylar, do you want to go next?
Sure. I have an endless list, but I'm gonna go with my most recent favorite. The Substance changed my life, and I can't say enough good things about it. My friend hooked me up with a ticket. She works in the movie theater. I went and saw it alone, and I stayed until after the credits had finished rolling and was just staring up at the screen, sobbing. It what it does for both practical effects, like the movie making side of me is so happy about all of it, and then also its message and just being a woman, especially in the industry and aging and just everything that comes with it. I had never experienced something so viscerally powerful, and I think people can kind of sleep on horror as a more serious genre for whatever reason. It's kind of mocked a lot, which, like, why are you trying to fight the people that have all the fun kills in movies? That's not a good idea. But that being said, I think horror is the most powerful in that way because what's more powerful than showing a metaphor, using a metaphor and showing the most gruesome twist on it to really get it across? Because that is how it feels to be a woman. It's disgusting. It's awful. But it's like, you do it, you take the substance. I could go on and on and on and on. So, Elijah, what is your favorite scary movie?
That's a really, really hard question. And I feel like I could go so many different directions, but I think for this question, I will choose a movie that has just been sticking with me for a while that I watched. I revisited the movie Inside. It's like a French, really brutal French extreme horror movie from 2007. I actually first watched that movie when I was probably 14, and it just absolutely fucked me up. And I revisited it last year for the first time since then, and it blew me away. It just riveting. It's so intense and scary and just emotional and thought provoking and just a wild ride from start to finish. And something that honestly is just I really wish we got more of nowadays. I think that what that movie does so well is it like manages to be like an entertaining I don't wanna say fun, it's not, like, fun, I can't be like, "Oh, put on Inside, what a fun movie," but it's just it's a really entertaining and engaging movie, it's never dull, and it's really brutal and fucked up, and it really, like, takes its time to get really fucked up, so a lot of the movie, you're just on the edge of your seat, and it's really just, like, nonstop tension from start to finish, but what I was saying, though, is that it's not afraid to just take you to a dark place, and it's not afraid to, like, be bold in the story it's trying to tell, and I feel like nowadays don't get me wrong, like, I just made a pop horror movie, I just made, like, a really sugary candy pop horror movie, and I love that stuff too, Evil Dead 2 is great, but there is something that's really refreshing about watching a bold movie, and Inside just, like, punched me in the face when I watched it last year, so I'll pick that one.
Elijah is the king of, like, have you seen this movie? I'm showing you the scariest movie you've ever seen and being like, yeah, I saw it when I was 6. And you're like,
Not being aware that, like, "Oh, this movie is a little fucked up, man. Maybe I shouldn't just show people this movie."
turning to you and being like, we can turn it off if you need to. And you're like, nope, every kid's okay. I haven't seen that one yet, though.
Have you guys seen that movie?
So
Okay, well,
just
trigger warning, it's fucked up.
for all of y'all to know, so our normal season 2 is the top 13 horror films from 2024, which in that list is Substance. So we have reviewed that one, so great choice there. Yeah, I mean, I'm scared just listening to his review.
I love that. And it's such a subject matter because as we go towards season 3 and things that we're gonna be doing in season 3, we were talking about what were films that you watched when you were too young, that you shouldn't have watched at those ages. And it has been so interesting in like so many categories. What were we exposed to at ages that like the parents didn't watch it first or they didn't know, or it was that blockbuster and they didn't know who it was for and they didn't care and there was like these things that happened because of that. And even like your reference of Terrifier, and I don't know where you guys are, but in Canada, there were signs at all of the theaters that said, we will be verifying that you are not going to see Wild Robot and that
Yeah.
you are not sneaking into Terrifier because there were so many people in high school and that were too young for the age limit that the box office numbers for Wild Robot went through the roof when Terrifier came out because it was sneaking in. It was so funny. So they had signs. So I took pictures. I was like, look at that. That's a good
Uh,
horror movie. It's amazing.
i
So yeah.
in the States, they're pretty chill about it in the States. You can kinda just, when I was a kid, I would, like, yeah, do the same thing, or, like, I would go watch one movie and then float into another theater or Yeah, something like that.
I
But
mean,
they're
there's
definitely
nothing
not
wrong
like
with Wild Robot. It is a good movie, but
No.
it's not the same.
No, it was like on its last few days at the theater. That's like going up, and they were like, "That is not wow, number." So it's I know, good for them.
I remember hearing about that.
Yeah, yeah.
That's
I'll
so
send you a
funny,
picture.
dude.
It's really funny. Well, thank you guys so much for being on today, and we loved seeing your short film. Hopefully, we get to see more from this team, more from you guys. Love hearing that you guys are an established film family, and thanks Elijah too for giving a shout out to your producer. We super appreciate that as well. It's awesome, and
Of course.
yeah, thank you all for listening. I'm Kit.
And I'm Cade,
We're real people.
doing real reviews.
See you next time.